My focus is to do my best to reach the right answer, and it is easy for parties who do not have the benefit of objectivity to get buried in detail, to take unnecessary procedural points, and what that leads to is, quite frankly, a waste of time and the spending of vast sums of money to no end, which can lead to the parties themselves becoming more entrenched. So what I want to do is to get to the issues in the case, to keep focus on those issues, and to make a determination of those issues. And I believe there are 4 key points or qualities. One is context, to understand the world outside the roles building and sitting on the bench, to understand the commercial or domestic context in which the case is placed. Compassion and humanity, to never lose sight of how your decision will impact on real people. And to have legal courage and integrity, you have to make a decision. Sometimes they are tough. And to remember that communication is not just about the ability to express oneself concisely, but the ability to listen as well and be patient. The judiciary should reflect the society in which we live, and we have a way to go yet in this jurisdiction to achieve that. And I bear in mind that in 2021, I was appointed as Chief Master, the first woman to hold that position. And we do not live in an equal society, and there is not equality of opportunity for people. And what we must do is to encourage and support a wider pool of people coming into the legal profession, which will in turn widen the recruitment pool for the judiciary. Our jurisdiction is very wide. That was one of the things that first struck me when I started sitting as a judge. I was a chancery barrister. I came straight from full-time practice to full-time judging with nothing in between. And most of the restrictions on the types of relief that a master may grant was removed with effect from the 6th of April 2015. A lot of our work is business related or concerns property disputes. But through our specialist list, it also includes work in competition law, intellectual property, which can range from trademarks, passing off, copyright, design rights, will sometimes lead to trade secrets issues, revenue cases. And then with trusts and pensions, the court is sometimes asked to approve a decision of the trustees, to vary the terms of a trust. A construction issue may arise concerning a deed, and trusts often have an international element in the High Court, and there may be conflicts of laws and disputes in multiple jurisdictions. With probate, that can involve challenges to wills, which often make the headlines, and disputes about an estate, and like trusts, they may involve rectification. Our work can also include making declarations under the Presumption of Death Act to decide when someone died, and to set out the factual basis upon which you can make a declaration that they are presumed to have died. Who should dispose of a dead body and the manner of their disposal. To cases such as professional negligence claims against solicitors, barristers, accountants, auditors, for example. I sit in the High Court in the Chancery Division. I'm physically based in the Rolls building, where I sit in the Business and Property Court, which encompasses a number of specialist courts and lists, and obviously the Chancery Division. can safely say I do not have a typical day or a typical week, and that is part of the enjoyment of the job. What I can say is the types of cases we can hear, and so we do hear a number of Part 8 claims where it's unusual to have oral evidence, but they still determine the dispute between the parties. But we also have trial jurisdiction, and we will hear trials. They usually last up to 5 days or so. A lot of our work remains procedural and dealing with applications, but many of those are substantive, and they themselves can bring proceedings to an end. They can be listed for 1, 2, 3 days and involve quite substantive matters. We also do case management. We prepare the case for trial. It may be tried by us, or if it is of particular complexity, length or value, it will be heard by a High Court judge. It is a combination. It's dealing with complex, knotty and sometimes novel legal issues, which can be an intellectual challenge and thoroughly stimulating, trying to solve the right legal answer. Then the analysis of the facts and resolving the parties' rights and disputes. And I feel very strongly that I'm in a very much a privileged position in what I do. I lead a team of 5 other masters and 21 deputy masters. We have a collegiate atmosphere on this floor of the Rolls building, including the insolvency and company court judges who are also on this floor. In terms of support, both giving and receiving, if you have, say, a tricky issue or a novel point or just something unusual has cropped up in the course of a hearing, it's very helpful to discuss that with your colleagues. They may have seen that happen before in one of their cases. Whilst the decision is ultimately yours alone, it's very useful to test your analysis and thoughts on colleagues. Frequently, 2 people came in today to say, can I sense check this? So that's all part of the collegiate atmosphere that's very strong here. Many of our deputy pool, and when I say 21 deputy masters, yes, they're part-time, there's fee paid judges, but they sit a lot of the time. 3 of the masters who've retired come back and sit regularly. One of our other deputies sits in sort of banks of 3 weeks at a time, so they very much feel like part of the furniture, and they're fundamentally important for our jurisdiction. But many of the new pool started in the pandemic, and so it's been very important to have a proverbially open door policy, even if that means ringing me on my mobile or a Teams call on the computer. I do have regular meetings with the deputies, or as I describe it, a surgery, where I can raise matters about procedure and practical matters, and they similarly can raise points that have cropped up, queries they have. In terms of support as well, we are also tremendously supported by the court service, and everyone fulfills a vital role that enables us to do our job of being judges.